Hello, everyone, and welcome to this eTwinning webinar offered by the European School Education Platform. Today's session is entitled Navigating AI and Online Safety and is organized in collaboration with the eTwinning feature groups on digital skills for pupils and teachers. If you don't know yet this group, if you're not part of this feature group, today you will get the chance to hear directly from the moderator of the group, Michael, who is here with us today, and I warmly welcome with us. Michael will tell you something more about the group very soon, and he invited for this occasion quite many speakers and experts on the topic of AI and online safety. So we have quite a full agenda for the day, which I will show you in this slide. And every speaker will then introduce themselves properly when it comes to their presentations. But for now, we'll just tell you that this group, the feature group on digital skills for pupils and teachers, is a spotlighted group during the month of June. And this is also in alignment to our monthly topic, the one of the European School Education Platform, Basic Skill Digital Literacy. So you will read quite many resources and articles throughout the month on this topic on our platform. And this webinar is further occasion of reflection on this topic. So since we have many speakers and many interesting topics you will hear about, I will not steal too much time. I will just remind you a couple of technicalities before we start. The first one is that this session is recorded and that the recording of this webinar will be published on YouTube on the official channel of the European School Education Platform. The recording will be available also on the page dedicated to this webinar on the platform itself as of next week. And my colleague Marta has kindly already posted in the chat for you the link where you will find the recording. And it will be also uploaded on the feature group of Michael since when it will be available. The second technicality that I would like to remind you is that the chat is there for you to make questions, to ask for any kind of technical support if needed. I will be there monitoring, so feel free to write your thoughts or your questions there, and also our speakers will be happy to address your questions if they are relevant for the topic we are going to address. And now, without further ado, I will leave the floor to the first speaker of today's webinar, Wojciech, here with us today. So welcome, Wojciech, and the floor is all yours. I know you will be sharing your presentation, so feel free to share your screen whenever you feel ready.
Hi, hello. Thank you for having me here today. It's an honor to spend this afternoon with you. My name is Wojtek Wontor. I'm a maths teacher and AI enthusiast from Embassy International School in Krakow. And I wrote a few ebooks on how to use AI in education. And today I would like to share with you my 10 favorite ideas on how to use AI in your classrooms. So first of all, I would like to start with a project. I love project-based learning. I love project-based teaching, but my biggest challenge was always to spend lots of time on preparing rubrics, instructions for students, descriptions, and stuff like that. So with ChatGPT, I use this tool to help me save some time, to help me with language. And on this slide, you have how this actually works. So it all comes from my mind and my creativity. I come up with a creative idea on a topic and on the main thought of the project and main goal of the project. And then I use ChatGPT to help me form an instruction that is suitable for my students and also a rubric so they know how am I grading the project. And this slide shows you one of the examples that I run this year. So I was teaching about pyramids, volume, surface area, and stuff like that, very complicated maths topic. And I wanted to link it with history. So I thought, okay, pyramids, it goes easily with ancient Egypt. So I wanted my student to build a city. So I wanted them to create a 3D objects, to plan the city, to describe the city. of course, to keep it in the ancient theme. And I asked ChatGPT to do the instruction for me. And before the AI era, this would took me about an hour to write the proper instruction, plus the rubrics, plus the description. Now with ChatGPT, the moment I have the idea in my hand, it takes me about 5, maybe 10 minutes to form it, to write it, then to adapt it a little bit, to tweak it a little bit, and then I'm ready with my students to start the project. And I try to use that idea every Friday. I try my best to have a project-based learning every Friday. Sometimes it doesn't work, but with ChatGPT, it's way easier to organize it. The second idea I would like to share with you is working with videos. During my tutor time, but also during my maths lessons, I really like learning or working with videos usually from YouTube. But if you use a video, you can let us know in a chat if you're using videos during your lessons. When you're working with a video, there will have to always be something after watching the video. So usually it's a quiz or it's a set of questions to check understanding. And again, before the AI era, it took me quite a lot of time to prepare such a lesson. Now, with a proper AI tool, it takes just a few minutes. I will now show you what tool I recommend. I recommend using QuestionWell. QuestionWell is a free AI tool that helps you generate a 10 questions long quiz based on either a text, website, or as you can see here, a YouTube link. Once you just copy paste the link from YouTube to this tool, it will quickly create you a set of questions. Here you have an example of history of London, 10 questions to the right. If you read it, if you change whatever needs to be changed, then you just click export. And now what's great about the tool is that you can export these questions into variety of different forms, from Microsoft Word to one and only Kahoot loved by all the students, but also for students that are a little bit older. You can, for example, use Google Forms and then assign it as a homework, or if you like teaching with a flipped classroom approach, then it's a perfect tool to check at the beginning of the lesson if they completed the homework, which is usually watching a video. Third example I'd like to show you is personalization. This is probably the most challenging thing when you're a teacher and your classroom is full of individuals, full of beautiful, different minds. Um, it's no longer one size fits all education, right? We all know that. And I found it pretty difficult to find time and resources to support every single student's need. With AI, I came up with some ideas on how to make it a little bit easier and accessible. And I do it by using ChatGPT to for customization of tasks, to modify tasks, my maths tasks to different levels, to create alternative version of exercise, to generate tasks of increasing difficulty for the high achievers, or to generate support strategies. An example. So in maths, uh, what you can find in textbooks are very basic questions, which quite often are boring for my students. On the left side of the slide, on the blue background, you have an example of a copy-pasted question from a textbook about Shona, dresses, different colors. I found this question, and my students found this question pretty boring. So what I do with such questions is I copy-paste them to ChatGPT, and then I asked ChatGPT to create a very similar or even identical question, but about a different topic. So on the right side of the slide, now you can see the exact same question with pretty much the same numbers, but about three different way more interesting topics for my students than just dresses. So at the top, it's about dinosaurs. The second one is about Minecraft. And the third one is about football. So thanks to that, I can create a worksheet based on my students' interests and hobbies. So if your student does not necessarily love your subject, you can help such a student with just creating a personalized worksheet full of questions and tasks which are based on hobbies and interest talents of this particular kid. Second thing is taking one question and making it accessible for both low achievers and high achievers. So I took this question and I asked ChatGPT to create me um, 5 questions on 5 different levels, from the easiest to the most difficult one. So every single student in a classroom can have a success. So of course I know what to expect from each of my students because I know them quite well. So I know who can I assign the level 1 question, who deserves a level 2 questions, who will do well with level 3 question, and so on and so on. So they're all working on a very similar question with just a small twist in it. Here you have also another example. Since I work in international school, my school is full of students with a very different level of English. Quite often we have a new students joining with a very, I would say, little of English. So I use ChatGPT to translate particular worksheets or even whole tests to different languages. On the slide here, you can see this particular task, math task, being translated to, for example, Ukrainian or Italian. Of course, I don't do it during every single lesson of mine, but at least at the beginning, when the student is struggling with new school, new place, new language, I'm trying to build a confidence using this method. I also use ChatGPT to provide individual feedback. This works quite easily. If we have an exam or a test, I just scan the test and upload it on ChatGPT. And then when I mark my assessments, then I only provide to ChatGPT results. So for example, if Anna made a mistakes in questions 1, 5, and 10 on this particular test, I can just simply with one single prompt say to ChatGPT, all right, Anya made a mistake in question 1, 5, 10, provide her a proper feedback and suggest what maths skill she needs to practice a little bit more. And I can provide such a feedback for every single student of mine in less than 20, 30 minutes. I keep the feedback short, so they read it, and not too long, not too complicated, and written in a student's language. Next one is crossword. I love using ChatGPT to create different types of puzzles. One of the puzzles is crossword. Uh, ChatGPT creates for me everything that is needed to have a good crossword. I just then copy what ChatGPT generates to another tool, and I suggest, I'll show you now, I suggest crossword labs, a tool like this one, and in just a few seconds, you can quite easily create a crossword. Of course, ChatGPT needs a proper prompt to do that, but it takes like 5 or 7 minutes, and my students love such a starter. I keep such crosswords, for example, for those of them who finishes my tests or assessments early. Another example of using ChatGPT is creating or generating a fairy tale. So first of all, my students in the smaller groups come up with a history and the main characters of the tale, main points in the story, and then we ask ChatGPT to write it. Once it's written, we then use another AI tool to generate images, and even we generate a voice who read the fairy tale out loud. I will share with you one example. Unfortunately, it's in Polish, but everything that you will see here is generated by AI based on student stories. So the main purpose of that is to build a creativity. So all the pictures plus the whole story here in this Canva is generated by AI. Of course, there must be some educational purpose behind this fairy tale, this story. And now, if I play it, I hope you will hear it. You will see that it can also be.
Tytuł bajki Tajemnica zaczarowanego lasu.
The voice can also be generated by AI. So for those students who are a little bit younger, let's say, you can create an audio book. You can let me know on chat if you can hear it. So fairy tale. Example number 6 is an avatar. I use avatars like, for example, Pythagoras or Fibonacci to introduce complicated topic by the author himself or herself. In this case, I would like to show you Fibonacci, who will be talking about himself, introducing himself to my students. So this is how it looks like. I work on Canva, and now I will play it, and you can let me know if you can hear it.
Cześć! Nazywam się Leonardo Spizzi, ale większość ludzi zna mnie jako Fibonacci.
And now you can imagine your students at the beginning of the lesson when you're introducing an interesting topic. You can imagine their faces when they can hear about the topic, about the subject from an interesting character or a person from a past who comes to life and describing, talking about it by themselves. Example number 7 is a dialogue with AI. In this project, I asked my students to run an interview with a person who is unfortunately already dead, and we used ChatGPT to do that. So their main goal at first was to come up with interesting questions they would like to ask that particular person. Then we used ChatGPT to generate answers, and then we build a poster by copy pasting and then printing all the questions and answers. And of course, as a last part of the project, they had to find sources to support every single answer from ChatGPT. So this is the project. I have it here. I hope you can see it. It's also on the presentation. This project here is an interview with a very famous mathematician, Alan Turing, made by my students, and they loved it. They loved it because, of course, I kept reminding them, okay, guys, just keep in mind that it's not a real person. We need to keep that in mind. You're not talking with Alan Turing, but still, they were very engaged and they learned a lot just by this interview. 8, songs. I love creating songs. I think creating songs with AI is one of the most shocking and fascinating things, and my students love it as well. To create an educational song, I use 2 tools. First of all, I use ChatGPT to generate lyrics, and then, as most of you probably already know, I use another tool called Suno to generate a song. So this song, the reason why I'm using songs is to teach younger students about, for example, properties of polygons or even times table. By using songs, it's way more engaging for them and it works pretty well for their memory. So if you don't know Suno, you should check it once the meeting is over because it's absolutely amazing. Idea number 9, almost the last one, playing with ChatGPT. I would like to show you one game that I'm using. This is a game called Jeopardy. So the prompt is pretty long. It took me some time to test it and to practice it. And you might know the game from the TV. It's a Jeopardy game with 5 different categories. This is the prompt. It's a pretty long one. And it's a template. So I just changed the categories here, and then we play. So how does this work? We have teams here, groups, and we have a table of content, and the teams choose the first category. Let's say fractions for 400s. Then ChatGPT will ask us a question. If you'd like to answer, feel free. Look, what is 3/4 plus 2 over 8? Give your answer as a simplified fraction. So now team number 1 has to answer. If you would like to share your answer, feel free to write it on the chat, at the chat. So we have 3/4 plus 1 over 4. So maybe it's 1. Let's see. So the team answers. Of course, ChatGPT checks the answer. And what's great about this prompt is that now this question, look here, this question is no longer available. So now team number 2. And as you can see, there is a scoreboard as well. And if we make a mistake, then we will get negative points. Very fun game. Another one I would like to suggest is playing a game called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? ChatGPT asks questions. They, as a class, they answer. They vote whether it's A, B, C, or D, and it's a lots of fun. Last example, it's a podcast. I love creating podcasts, especially with a little bit older students. And to easily create a podcast, I use Notebook LM. This particular tool gives you a chance to upload your own sources in form of YouTube video or a PDF file or a Word document. Doesn't really matter. And then using these sources, you can click this button here and get a podcast. The podcast will be about 8 to 10 minutes long. It depends on the sources that you will upload. It will be a podcast between 2 people. This tool operates on 52 different languages, so I'm pretty sure you will find your language as well. Test it, try it, and then you will see how amazed students will be. So I ask students to think of a topic they would like to discover and they would like to research on. Then they need to find resources. Then we upload sources to Notebook LM, and we listen to the podcast. The very last extra example is working with AI-generated pictures. Here you have 2 examples. It's a mind map and it's a comic book. The first one is about maths and prime numbers. The other one is for physics on energy with ChatGPT and its AI generating image generator. Creating such stuff is very easy thing. I know I rushed a little bit, but I only got 10 minutes. Thank you for listening. If you would like to hear more, we can organize a webinar or we can meet online later. Thank you for having me. Thank you for invitation and have an amazing afternoon during the conference.
Thank you very much, Wojtek, for this gallery of tips, approaches, and tools that attendees are finding very useful. I invite you to give a look at the chat when you stop sharing your screen because, yeah, there are some comments about the tools. There was just one question if these are free, but you said these were free. So
all of them are free. All of them
okay,
are free.
Great. Thank you very much, Wojtek. So we will go now ahead with the next speaker, who is Esther Kovacs, and she's here with us today, but she has some issues with her voice, so she has prepared a special video that will be her presentation, and I'm going now to share my screen and share it with you. Just give me a second to share the video, and so we are good to go. Okay. I just ask you, since I cannot see the chat in this moment, if you can maybe, and I'm asking to our speakers, if you can just let me know if the audio is working fine when I will start playing the video. So the video is entitled Unlocking Creativity and Inclusivity in Education with a Twinning Project.
2 innovative e-twinning projects, 2 experiences, 2 ways of enhancing engagement while developing competences. Let me introduce myself. I'm a secondary school teacher and an enthusiastic e-twinner. Project-based learning and e-twinning opened my eyes to a world full of innovation. It kept me on a path where acquiring new knowledge, skills, and attitudes was guaranteed. You can imagine how much my professional development was accelerated by the support of AI. The goal of my presentation is to introduce 2 e-twinning projects I participated in with my students. While describing them, I will highlight 2 key features: the project's impact on learning outcomes and their inclusivity. But before we dive in, let me take a short detour. Can you guess which AI tools are most popular among users? You don't need to, I've already checked, and will present them to you: Canva, DeepL, ChatGPT, Gemini, Grammarly. Each of you has probably used at least one of these tools during your regular work or a specific project. They are all useful and have unique features that make our jobs easier. However, they are not sufficient for planning an e-twinning project. You need something more tailored. The first project, called AI Masters, used AI Dungeon, DALL-E, and Midjourney. It focused on AI-assisted storytelling. If you're familiar with the last 2 tools, you can probably guess that we generated a lot of images as well. These illustrations were used in audiobooks and videos. Dive, the second project, Codebreaker Chronicles, used chatbots on Character.ai, Huygen, ChatGPT, and CipherWizard. On the platform, anyone can create chatbots
I'm not sure if the video is blocked also for you. Can you just confirm it to me? Because I see now the screen that is frozen.
Yeah, it stopped.
based on fictional or real characters. On the one hand, this makes
I think
language
it
learning
restarted.
easy and fun.
I think the video got stuck again. Let me just try to reshare. Maybe it's a connection issue.
On the other, it can teach historical and cultural knowledge. During the project, students created a notorious gang of thieves stealing priceless items vital to European cultural heritage. Then they formed detective teams to interrogate witnesses and uncover the locations of the stolen items. Huygen helped create a sense of mystery, making the experience playful and game-like. In the second phase of the project, Inspector Mike, a persona created with Huygen, presented the tasks. Students worked on solving codes generated by ChatGPT's CipherWizard. Now, let me move on to the project's impact on competence development. Critical thinking. In AI Masters, students wrote stories. Their level of English and writing skills varied, but AI-assisted writing enabled every participant to enjoy the thrill of creation. Unfortunately, many teachers associate AI-assisted writing with students using ChatGPT to complete assignments. In our case, however, it served as a spark that ignited creativity. Should we accept everything AI Dungeon generates? Of course not, and this is where critical thinking comes into play. Students waited for AI to generate part of the story, then actively interrupted it with specific instructions about what characters should do or say. If they weren't satisfied with the result, they asked it to regenerate. Collaboration. Stories were created through teamwork. Each team wrote one part and passed it on to the next. In the second project, one team created national characters while others interrogated them. Computational thinking. Students broke down complex problems into smaller, manageable parts. Who is the perpetrator? Where are the stolen treasures? These are complex questions, but by starting small, interrogating witnesses, collecting evidence, listing pros and cons, they were able to reach successful conclusions. Inclusivity, my next major topic is inclusivity. Let me present a list that highlights our efforts. Use multimodal outputs. Design for neurodiversity, autism, ADHD, dyslexia, foster peer collaboration. Choose accessible tools. Focus on strengths, not deficits. Create a sense of achievement. Gamified structure. Promote cultural and linguistic inclusion. Use formative assessment. To give you a deeper insight, I'd like to elaborate on the gamified structure. Writing is a difficult and complex task, but it can be made more accessible with the help of AI tools. AI Dungeon is a perfect example. Now, compare a blank sheet of paper with a single printed sentence to a screen filled with typical game-like features. Imagine a teacher standing in front of the class calling your name and asking you to write about a specific topic versus a wheel of fortune that lands on your team's name. Or think of a difficult chemistry test printed on paper compared to a cipher created by ChatGPT. Education for all. Thanks for listening to this presentation. Explore further details on the Miro board. The link will be shared with you. 2 innovative e-twinning projects.
Okay, great. So this was the video prepared by Esther and her presentation. I'm now stopping sharing the screen so I can see you all. And in the meanwhile, let me see if in the chat some questions appeared. Yeah, the sound sometimes had some interruption, I guess for the connection, but exactly. Thank you very much, Esther, for posting the link in the chat. And the video will be also in the presentation that will be shared along with the recording on the official page of the webinar. So you will have everything there. You can catch up if any part was not clear for the sound, and you can see it, watch it again. Great. So no questions in particular. So if it's okay for you, Esther, I would go ahead, and then if any questions appears, you can always answer later on. Next in the agenda, we have the presentation of Cornelia Melcu. So welcome, Cornelia. Maybe while you introduce yourself, I will upload again the presentation so you can take control.
Okay.
Just a few seconds.
Hello, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be a part of this great webinar, and I am Cornelia Melcu. I come from Romania. I'm a primary school teacher basically, but I'm a teacher, trainer, mentor for university students who will be teachers soon, and an ambassador for other programs and projects in Europe. Today I will present you one of my last projects, which was held last school year, sorry, together with my great friend Jolanta Okuniewska from Poland. Okay, so
Cornelia, the presentation is uploading. It just takes a few seconds. Okay, I think now in few seconds will appear because I see loading your presentation. So just give me, okay, so you should see now the first slide, and now we go to Cornelia presentation here. Okay, so Cornelia, can you confirm that you see
yes,
your first slide?
Okay,
so you can take control if you want in your top bar, otherwise I will move it for you. Great.
Okay. So as I told you, I prepared the presentation about the project, run last school year, my future looks so bright. A collaborative e-twinning project, all e-twinning projects should be collaborative. But I think collaboration, it was the main point in this project. Why I choose this? Because the project was awarded this spring in Poland for its results. Okay, so the presentation is related to this. Sorry, but okay, now I'm okay because I was a little bit too far away from the computer.
No worries, Cornelia.
Yes, so I was a little bit lost. Okay, so the title of the presentation is Twinning a Path to Grow Skills for the Future, because the project was for very young students, starting ages 6, there is 7, but there were some students age 6 till 10 years old. The project earned, of course, all the labels and the words. Okay, now I'm trying to go to the, okay. Because we are talking about collaboration, I prepared a project overview and collaboration. We started firstly with the teacher planning. Of course, all teachers talked together and they used a collaboration doc. We used Google Docs to determine the activities, the work methods, ICT tools, and all the responsibilities. Then the students' engagement, even the students are very young, we should have on our minds that the students have to be involved from the beginning of the project. In all our projects, I'm talking about us because me and Yola are running project for almost 15 years now. We start by asking our students which project would they like to work in. And this is very important because they choose the topic together with us, okay? So students work collaboratively, within their classes and across European schools to complete tasks and create common products. Then the main point was the career exploration. This is very important, the career starting with young ages. So I want to tell you that our students chose the topic. They said they would like to know more about some jobs. As you know, nowadays is very fancy to talk about YouTuber or influencer and whatever. So I think they had on their mind this kind of jobs too. And they wanted to know more about them. Activities included surveys about parents' job, our students' parents' jobs, learning responsible behavior, and exploring various professions through interactive tasks. Then, of course, the technology integration. And because I told you the students were very young, TwinSpace was the central platform for sharing materials, communication, and organizing online meetings. The key project activities were, first, as I told you, the initial survey, because we wanted to know where to start. So students conducted surveys about their parents' jobs to establish baseline knowledge and interests. Then, job exploration. All the school year, we created presentations describing different professions, simulated job activities, and identified necessary skills for them. Then again, through all the school year, we had expert meetings. So we invited a lot of experts from different areas and fields women and men, of course. And the students met them and talked and asked prepared questions and asked questions about their jobs. We also visited some specific places and met people doing their job. Then online games. We created career-themed games online, of course, and partners played during online meetings. And because AI is nowadays present everywhere, we integrated artificial intelligence, and students learned how to create image. They hiding two professions in one image, and then we uploaded it on a Padlet, and the other teams guessed the jobs. It was, I want to tell you that that was the most voted, that the most enjoyable and the funny activities from our students. Then the technology integration, as I told you, firstly was the TwinSpace platform, because it was the central hub of our work. Then the AI exploration, we used, as I told you, mobile apps and other online platforms for creating AI images. Digital tools, and I put there a list of some digital tools that were used with our students, even they were young. Canva posts on my wall, as you see, Google Forms, Answer Garden, Bing, Copilot, that was for creating images, Tricider and Quizzes. Then media creation. We use digital camera and tablets for photos and recording online meetings. Very important are the pedagogical approaches, because we use diverse pedagogical methods tailored to students' needs and interests. All the activities were designed to foster collaboration and creativity through group projects, presentations, gaming, and role-play exercises. As you saw there, we focused on emotional growth, language development, core values, and of course, all the 21st century skills, starting with collaboration, creativity, critical thinking, and ICT skills. Very important was the curricular integration. We had some topics integrated in civic education when we explore values related to different jobs and careers. For example, on mathematics, because we compared and analyzed survey results and worked with data and statistics. Art and creativity, because we had the individual and group work, group art projects about different jobs. And language and arts, because we read various texts, critical analysis, creative presentation in mother tongue and English. The results and the impact of the projects were great, because the students enhanced creativity and motivation, improved critical thinking skills. They had a better communication, collaboration, advanced ICT skills, and experience with active citizenship. For teachers, we expanded ICT competencies, strengthened collaborative practice, improved team bonding, and broader professional network. And of course, recognition. As I told you, we won, all the partners won the national quality label, European quality label. The project was awarded in Poland and featured in best practice in regional meetings. Here something is missing, the link to the TwinSpace, but I will send you, Alicia, or put it in the chat. And I will finish by telling you that the partners were, yes, of course, I will provide the link instantly when after I finish. I want to thank to all my partners, Cyprus, as I told you, Poland, of course, the other founder, Cyprus, Moldova, and Portugal. And thank you for listening. And thank you, eTwinning. I'm a very old eTwinner, and I'm very happy with eTwinning. And I think 10 minutes were. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cornelia. Thank you very much for this presentation and for giving some insights into this project. And now we go ahead and we move ahead to another project on the topic of digital skills, one of the eTwinning European prizes. So we are really happy to have here with us today Judith, Olga, and Susanna, who are behind the project podcast.us, sorry, and will tell us a bit more how they use digital skills for creating this project and with creativity and collaboration. Judith, whenever you are ready, you can share your screen and tell us a bit more about this amazing project.
Here we are. Okay. Okay, hello everybody. My name is Olga. Yes, you can see three of us here, three teachers I am from Poland, Judith is from Barcelona, and Susanna from Italy. Thank you for invitation. We really appreciate that, and it's of course pleasure for us to tell you a bit about our project. We can admit successful one, luckily. That project was carried out last school year, from September to June, so whole school year. There were students involved from the age of 10 to 13, and the main goal of the project was to develop English language skills of our students, and mainly they created a podcast by themselves, actually, really by themselves, from the scratch. And talking about the goal, I would like to also emphasize that we also wanted to show, not only develop the English language skills, but also show to our students podcasts as an independent language learning tool they can also use, and we also wanted to motivate them and encourage. We wanted to encourage learning through that intrinsic motivation, and this is why all episodes of the podcast they created were all topics were about their passion, hobbies, interests. We really wanted them to decide what they want to talk about and because they needed to be recorded. So we wanted them to have fun. Yeah, so Judy, may I ask you, next slide. Now, Susanna, please.
Yes. Good evening. I'm Susanna from Italy. Thank you for this opportunity. As Cornelia said before, collaboration was the very important part in this project. So in our project was the same. Collaboration between schools has been one of the strongest points of the project. We shared ideas, we planned together, we helped together, we helped a lot. And we planned the main steps, the main activities, So we had a first online meeting at the end of August where we shared our ideas. So we had scheduled of the main activities to do during the year, all year long. And then school, we had a school introduction and teachers introduction. But also students meetings are very important, and thank you, Alessia. Students meeting are really important, that they love them. We had the first online meeting in October, the beginning of October. So students had the opportunity, the chance to see each other, to see their partners. So they love this time. It is a really great event, fantastic, very exciting. They saw the partners, they agreed, and they see the other schools. In this moment we played a game, and it was a Kahoot. We created a Kahoot about popular tradition of our countries. So very basic. It wasn't that difficult. I mean, what is the most important popular dish in Catalonia or Spain or Italy and so on. Then we had another online meetings at the end of the project, so final farewell meetings in June, where we played again. At this time, the topic of the online game was their podcast. They were their podcast, the podcast they have written and recorded, and they have recorded and written in international teams. So again, collaboration in teams, in international teams. And then in that moment, it was revealed that the best project who won the final contest of the project, of the project, yeah. This, Judith?
Okay, e-safety was a key element in our project, ensuring that students learn how to interact responsibly and safety online. We celebrate Safer Internet Day in February, and to do this, we carry out a collaborative activity using a tool called TreeSider. Students from all the schools can grow and contribute with ideas about how to stay safe online. So each idea could receive pros and cons. In this way, we can also see how the students interacted and also how they vote for the best and most relevant suggestions. At the end of the activity, the teachers collected those ideas that were most voted, and with these ideas, we created the netiquette of our project, and then we share with the rest of the students. All the activities that we plan in the project were fully integrated into its school pedagogical plan and aligned with the educational laws of the three participating countries. This ensured that the project supported national curriculum goals while promoting cross-curricular learning. The tasks involved various subjects such as English, art, maths, and science. And this allowed students to apply their knowledge in a real-world context and develop key competencies through meaningful and engaging activities.
Yeah, now in terms of project tasks, now I will try to very briefly explain you all activities, most of them we carried out. So first, we can say that our project was divided into stages. So the first stage, we wanted students before the main part, we wanted them to integrate, provide them at least a sense of, provided them with at least a sense of integration. allow them to get to know one another, at least just a little bit. And there were different activities to achieve that, but one of them was creating a logo of the project. And here, at first, as students, of course, in groups, because throughout the whole project, as students worked in groups, they created logo graphic designs. And then to make it collaborative, we created international groups, they exchanged logos, and then they were asked to write slogans. But that slogans had to represent the graphic design they could see on the logo. And in the end, we had nice logos created together within international groups. Then we invited communities from 3 schools and created competition for the best logo. It was also a nice opportunity for us to promote the project, to show the project, and the competition was organized. Then, Judith, next slide, please. Then after this part, we moved to provide to the part to introduction. Our students needed to be provided with necessary information about podcasts. Not all of them, we found out that not all of them, actually they knew a bit about podcasts, but not all of them had listened to one before. So it was very important to give them necessary information before the process of creation one. And here we wanted to use, and we used authentic materials. We did listening and reading in English. So first we started with 3 YouTube videos explaining what a podcast is. Then we created also Padlet walls, and we asked our students to write in their own words what they think a podcast is. And then we gave them an article, but we found a very nice article, quite long, also presenting how to make a podcast as well. But we also created simplified version for students, like support version, so students actually could choose. And after reading that, they also created comprehension questions. So we didn't create comprehension questions for them. We wanted them to do it because that provided them, because then we knew they had to read it. Yes, had to be able to create a question. You need to read the text very carefully. So here also they did it collaboratively. And then of course they answered those questions. And at the end of this part, we prepared quiz for them, checking the whole knowledge they got. So using quizzes up here. And then next stage, choosing of the topic of the episode. And here we can say there were 2 parts. One was we wanted them to tell us about their passions, hobbies, interests. So again, there was a Padlet and they wrote, there was a writing task, they wrote what they are passionate about, so they can read and see what others like, etc., and also present their passion. But on the other hand, we wanted to show them that they also need to check the audience, potential audience. So we asked them to create surveys using Google Apps forms, and they prepared surveys for teachers, for parents, for family members, and other students from the schools about their interests, passions, or hobbies, whatever. And then after they collected a lot of information, and then on the basis of the information, they decided on the final topic of their episode.
Olga, sorry to interrupt you. I just would like to remind you that we have few minutes left. So if you can maybe just focus on some final insights, and then Michael still wants to give like a final overview of the group. So I just ask you to wrap up a bit, but the materials will be available. So our attendees will have everything there.
Okay, so then they created scripts. Susan, next, can I may ask you? So scripts, and then recording recording the podcast. It was the most enjoyed part. 5 students, they recorded them, edit sounds, transitions, etc. And creating covers at the end. But Judith has also important information for you, so maybe I will let Judith to speak now.
Yes, at one point of the project, we wanted to check if we were on the right track. So we decided to ask for advice from podcast experts. We were fortunate that the parents of a student from the Spanish school produced a podcast show for the national radio. So we invited them to give a conference. And as we wanted all the project partners to be involved, using a tool called Mentimeter, we asked all the students to give questions for the experts. So the students from Spain could ask those questions, and then when this is the meeting we had, and then we collect all the advices in this presentation in Canva to share with the rest of the students from Poland and Italy. So we get very useful advices to record our podcast.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Judith. And congratulations for the great work. I'm not sure if this was the final slide of your presentation, but it comes right on time, because then we can leave the floor to Michael, who can wrap up a bit the session. But really, congratulations for your great work and for winning the European prize, and for giving us these insights from what made your project so special. So Michael, I ask you to use the final 5 minutes if you can. I know it's a mission impossible, but to wrap up a bit the session and to encourage, of course, our attendees to discover all the resources in your group.
Of course. Thank you very much to all the speakers for attending our presentation. I would like to invite you to our group. Can we share the presentation?
Definitely, it's uploading. Just takes a while.
If you are interested in this kind of topic, AI and selfie tools, you can always visit our group. We have a number of interesting topics and ideas to share with you, not only in connections with eTwinning, but also in your everyday classrooms. And we have some ideas how to use those tools. For example, I would like to show you some examples, but the presentations are
coming
are loading. That's no problem. Anywho, on the chat you can visit our there's a link to our group. It's loading.
Okay, here it is, and I will go directly to the slide of Michael. So here we are. Here it is. So I think you were talking about this slide, Michael?
Yeah.
And if you want me to go back to, okay, great, you took control.
Yeah, I think I can manage. So, okay, can you see everything?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so what you can expect for our group, we have AI and selfie tools, many tutorials, useful links, eTwinning project ideas, such as today you heard about some ideas. We also have highlights of interesting projects, not only those that won in the competitions, but also presented by you, the users. We have online meetings and webinars. We also conduct training sessions, maybe not as big as this one, but for less people. It's more private and more less intimidating, I think. We also have partner funding activities, virtual coffee breaks, and you can also always count on our support. This month, for example, we are having, maybe I will show you the last slide. So this month we are having an AI scavenger hunt where you can post your ideas on a number of topics, and the best guy or gal can win a mystery box prize that will be sent to you. Anywho, here are just some examples of what you can expect. For example, each month we are having a vote which eTwinning project is best. For example, at the beginning we had an AI Taste of Tradition versus AI Emotional Support PES, and it's an ready eTwinning project. If you would like to participate in this kind of project, maybe copy it. Everything is on the website. We also have a list of AI tools and selfie tools that you can use in your everyday classrooms. We have links also and a short descriptions of what they can do. And also we have some tutorials of a given AI tool. So for example, as Esther talked about AI Dungeon, we started tutorials with AI Dungeon that you can use in your projects. And we also have project ideas that you can copy and project highlights. For example, my future looks so bright that was talked about today. It's also on our website. And there are also highlighted some projects, for example, my project AI Masters, and as Esther told us, it used AI Dungeons to collaborate and teach students how to write. I am a teacher that teaches students, mentally challenged students, students that are handicapped, and they had a problem with writing in English, speaking as well. So I decided to use AI to help them write, and this was the collaboration when students wrote a part of the story, and it was sent to the to other country. The other country had to write their part and send it to the next country, and bit by bit we wrote a whole story and multiple stories, and it was all connected with a book. And I would also like to highlight that my students couldn't even write one sentence in English without making some kind of error, without thinking about it. And at the end of the project they could write whole stories, whole books even. That's why I started this journey with AI, because I was blown out of my mind thinking about how AI can help students such as my students. And this year we tried to copy that success, and we started with AI Symphony of Emotions, where my students struggle with their emotions, and we used AI to think about how music can help us develop those emotions. Some music can help us calm down, some can energize us, and our students didn't know that. So we created songs using AI and talked about it, how those songs are affecting us. And we actually this week we concluded our work on Codebreaker Chronicles, where, as Esther said, we had big international projects where our students were detectives that talked with AI, talked with witnesses of some crimes, and they had to conclude what was stolen, who stole it, and bit by bit we had an international detective story where we had to catch those thieves. It's a very great project. We are ending this project this week. Our students wrote a book, they made a comics, they also, as was today, Wojtek said about those podcasts. We also made a podcast about this chronicle, and the students couldn't be happier. And if our students are happy, I think we as a teachers should also be happy. So this kind of ideas you can find in our group. So please join us, learn, grow, and connect with our eTwinning group, Digital Skills for Pupils and Teachers, including AI and selfie tools. Thank you very much for keeping up with us. Sorry it took some 10 minutes from your time, but if you are interested, please visit our group. We are waiting for you there.
Thank you very much, Michal, and thank you again to all our speakers today for sharing your knowledge and time with us. And thank to our attendees that stayed with us and engaged in the chat and made some interesting questions. So thank you all, and I wish you all a nice evening. Bye, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.